Hello again and welcome to this video. Here we are again in Ascend TMS looking at our familiar dashboard, and what we want to do in this video is we want to treat this video as part one of a two-step sequence process for generating a weekly revenue report. And the report is exactly what it sounds like. This is where we get all of the figures and amounts to know exactly what was done in the previous week in terms of revenue generation. And this is where we know how much each driver picked up and loaded and delivered for, and how much they should get paid, as well as office personnel, dispatch personnel, anyone who makes the business go. This is where we get everything that was generated the previous week so we know how to pay everyone out. All right, so what we want to do to generate this report is just we want to navigate over to our left hand menu panel here, down to the section for reporting, load reports. Okay, and we're brought to our load reporting window where we can input these fields with all different types of specific criteria. But for the purposes of this report, all we really need is our date range. Okay, and so before we actually input our dates, let me show you how we determine our dates for the previous week. So here we are on the 21st of February. And so what we're doing is we're generating a report for the previous week. And the 21st is actually included in the previous week. And I'm going to show you what I mean. So for this particular week, we're looking in theory at the 13th, which is a Sunday, and the 19th, which is a Saturday. So because of the nature of the pickup, shipping, and receiving business, most shippers and receivers aren't going to be operational on the weekends. And some of them might be, but it's a very small percentage that include the weekends in their weekly operation schedule. So for the most part, we don't really pick up anything on the weekends. But for theoretical purposes, we're looking at the 13th through the 19th. That's the week that we want to target. Okay, and so in all actuality, all of our drivers will typically see pickups between Monday and Friday. Okay, so the actual weekday portion of this 7-day period. Now, what happens when a driver picks up a load on a Friday, for instance, and so technically he's picked it up within the acceptable range of dates, but he's not able to, let's just say it's a cross country trip. Let's just say he's not able to deliver until the following Monday. Well, that's what I mean when I say that the Monday following the week in question is included in the week in question, because as a grace to the driver, if he's able to deliver over the weekend on the following Monday, we'll go ahead and include this Monday delivery in the previous week. All right, and that's a strict cutoff. If he delivers on Tuesday of the following week, then it's no dice. We can't include it in this week. He's only allotted or allowed to deliver on Monday. Now, the only reason why we would include a Tuesday delivery is if it was completely outside of his control that he could not deliver on Monday. Let's just say a federal holiday, something along those lines. It's situational, it's circumstantial in nature. But for the most part, the business was closed. That's why he couldn't deliver, but he could have otherwise. So, we'll roll it over to Tuesday and still include it. So that's how we determine our dates. All right. So we'll take that and we'll just plug it into our date range here. And so we'll say February the 13th through February 21st. All right. And so we'll just come down to our green button to search this load range and preview the report. And so what Ascend TMS has done for us is it's given us this report just like we asked, but it also includes a report summary. And so we'll see here the total revenue, the average rate per mile, so on and so forth for our expenses, for the gross profit. You see the whole breakdown here. And we're going to continue to scroll past that and we'll see all of our entries for that date range. And I just so happen to notice that it's showing 7 loads. But I know that there's more than this and there's some missing. And this is a good week to do this video for the reason that I'm about to go into now. So what can sometimes happen is if we were to go over to our weekly rate confirmation folder in our local files, we'll see that opposed to the 7 entries found in our report, we actually have 10 items in our local folder. And these are all the rate confirmations that we have for this week's folder. So where are these extra 3 entries coming from with our local drive that's not being included in our report here? Okay, because we only have 7, but here we have 10. What has happened is this. We have a handful of rate confirmations that did not deliver on time to be included in their respective week. So what ended up happening is it got rolled over until this week's report. So here's what I mean. Our date range was February 13th through February 19th. But you'll notice the dates here on these reports. On these rate confirmations. We're looking at February 9th. That's previous to the 13th. February 10th. So they did not deliver on time just because there was just a delay in the delivery. Things come up all the time in trucking. And so there could have been a mechanical breakdown. The shipper got things confused and, maybe there was no one there to do the offloading. And so therefore the driver had to spend the night. You never know what can happen in trucking, but they didn't get delivered in time. They had to roll over into this week. And that's why they're showing up here as an additional 3 to whatever was naturally generated for this week. All right, so we have what's naturally generated for this week plus these 3 that rolled over, giving us a total of 10. All right, so what we have to do now is we'll have to go back over to Ascend, and what we'll do is we'll have to expand our date range to include the 9th and the 10th. Okay, and then so that's what we do here. We've expanded our date range to grab all those dates, and then we'll just go back down to our green button and we'll search again. And you'll notice that the summary now includes 15 loads. Well, wait a minute, I thought we were just looking for 10. Well, we are, and so here's what happened. The system now, okay, so now we have 2 pages. Let me go ahead and expand to show all 15 here. The system inevitably pulled in the 3 that we were looking for, plus additional ones that were inclusive of that entire date range. Okay, so now instead of just pulling in those 3, it's pulled in 3 plus, 5 more to give us a total of 15. But we don't want to include those 5 that were already accounted for. We just want to include the 3 that were not accounted for from the previous week. All right, so what we're going to end up having to do is we'll go ahead and export this report that includes all 15, and then we'll eliminate the ones that we don't want, and we'll keep the ones that we do. All right, in the next step. That'll be in the next video. But for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to show you sometimes what you will encounter when determining what needs to be on the report versus what needs to be left off if you have everything properly accounted for. So that's how we'll go. This is how we account for all of the loads that need to be on the weekly report. All right. So now that we have everything that needs to be included, along with some extras that will be eliminated in the following step, what we want to do next is we'll just go ahead and export our report. All right, and we get notified up top that it's been generated, and we can click this link to download the file. Boom, there it is. And we'll go over to our downloads folder, and we see the file here. All right, and so what we want to do next is we want to upload this file into our Google Drive for our company's Google account. All right, and this is where we keep all of our documents for the company. All right, so we can just drag it into our Google Drive. We'll take it, we'll drag it in. This tab here. And you know what, let me back out of this. Let's try it again. Just drag it in right there. All right, and we can see it starting to upload complete. We'll just click it and we will open it with Google Sheets. And here we have our report. Right here, it's given us all possible data points that we could possibly want to report on. We're not going to report on all of these. There's only a few columns that we want to keep for the purpose of our weekly revenue generation report. And so I'll show you exactly step by step on how to eliminate the ones we don't want and then generate the final report uh, for our weekly revenue report. All right, so that concludes this video. And in the next video, we'll walk through the steps on how we take what we just downloaded and upload it to our Google Drive and finalize our report so we can send it to management and get this paycheck, baby. Just playing. Anyway, meet me in the next video and we'll walk through the steps and we'll finish up there.